Starseed of Gaia, your vessel is being recalibrated at a cellular level at this exact moment. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I bring you a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council. If you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. Most people who watch are not subscribed yet. Starseed. Something is happening to your time, and it is not just in your head. You may have felt it in the way your nights have changed, how your dreams carry a weight of reality, how your days feel stretched and strangely layered, how recognition appears before explanation. And while the world calls it solar weather, what you are actually receiving is a living gift. Solar consciousness releasing cosmic memory codes that were never meant to be understood only with the mind. These codes are not random, they are intelligent, they are ancient. And they are arriving now because the field around Gaia is shifting into a convergence window, where parallel expressions of you come close enough to share resonance, close enough to recognize each other through the same breath, the same night, the same moment. Tonight, you will understand why Dreamtime is becoming the primary bridge for multidimensional integration, why certain places in dreams repeat like sacred checkpoints, and why you may feel guided by a knowing that has no story attached to it. Stay with this transmission until the end, because we will include a pre-sleep activation protocol designed to help your body integrate these solar codes with ease and stability, without overload, without fear, and without forcing anything. And here is the unsettling part. Some of the dreams you're having may not be yours alone. They may be meetings. The sun on Gaia is not merely a star in your sky. In the Arcturian understanding, your sun is a conscious stabilizer, a coherence being that has held relationship with Earth across epochs that your linear history cannot comfortably place. It has watched humanity move through civilizations, collapses, renaissances, and energetic resets, while continuously imprinting the planetary field with rhythms that help embodied beings remain viable in form. When solar activity intensifies, the surface mind often labels it disruption. Yet from a higher dimensional lens, solar bursts can function as carrier waves, translating vast, non-local information into frequencies your nervous system can actually receive. Not as commands, not as orders, but as harmonic keys that unlock what is already stored inside you. The Arcturians transmit that solar light does not only illuminate matter, it activates memory through resonance, especially when the collective field is ready for timeline proximity. You may notice it as subtle shifts, the feeling that time is more permeable, that you are sensing more than one thread of identity, that your emotions have echoes that do not match current circumstances. These are not signs that you are broken. They are signs that your awareness is widening into a field where your soul's parallel expressions are no longer quarantined behind strict linear boundaries. Timeline convergence is not an event you put on a calendar. It is a condition of the energetic environment. When the field softens separation, incarnational threads begin to feel familiar to each other. That is why recognition can arise without personal memory attached. A face in a dream can feel like family even if your waking mind has no file for it. A location can feel returned to even though you have never been there in physical life. This is the soul field reacquainting itself with itself. And what makes this period unusual is that the sensing is not remaining occasional. It is stabilizing. It is becoming embodied. Many starseeds have always had flashes, visions, intuitive hits, sudden recognition. But now those flashes are being supported by solar coherence so they can become continuous enough to integrate into daily life without fragmentation. At the center of this shift is a simple truth. You are not accessing something outside yourself. You are experiencing the natural movement of your awareness within a field that finally supports greater proximity between your many expressions. The sun's consciousness offers a familiar bridge because it has been part of your lived experience since your first breath on this planet. And now, it is releasing codes that activate you through familiarity rather than force, so that multidimensional knowing can arrive as calm certainty, not as chaos. This is why the Arcturian Council speaks of solar light as a gift. It delivers galactic-scale memory through a channel your body already trusts. And if the sun is translating memory into your system, why does it come most strongly at night when you are asleep? Dreamtime is not a side effect. It is the primary stage where your system can safely expand perception without the constraints of social identity, language, and linear logic. In waking life, your mind tries to categorize. In dreamtime, awareness simply participates, and participation is how these codes become lived experience instead of mental theory. So if you've felt your nights becoming more vivid, more coherent, more full, you are not imagining it. You are entering the next chamber of the process, the convergence field where multiple strands of you can meet. Because soon you will realize the dreams are not only showing you symbols, they are showing you locations that function like multidimensional gateways. Dreamtime is emerging as the primary environment for timeline convergence because it offers what waking consciousness rarely can: bandwidth without fragmentation. In the dream state, awareness is free to move without effort, without having to justify itself, without forcing logic onto experiences that were never meant to be reduced into linear explanation. The Arcturians transmit that dreamtime is not simply the subconscious sorting the day. It is a perceptual domain where your consciousness can inhabit multiple layers of reality at once. This is why your dreams may feel more coherent lately, like complete environments rather than random flashes. Even when the story does not follow earthly logic, the atmosphere is stable, the space holds together, and you feel oriented inside it. That stability is not accidental. It is the field supporting integration. In convergence windows, memory stops behaving like a timeline of past events and begins behaving like containers, sealed archives of experience that open when your vibration matches them. You do not retrieve these memories like files. You harmonize with them, and the container opens as lived experience. That is why some dreams feel like you are returning to a hall, a corridor, a platform, a luminous chamber, a water-adjacent temple, a crystalline archive. These environments are not metaphors. They are experiential formats that carry information through space, geometry, and feeling. You may notice that you meet presences that feel known in a way that does not require names. A being may speak words your waking mind cannot recall, but the communication feels complete. You may feel, "I understand everything," even if you cannot translate it into sentences afterward. That is because dreamtime communicates through felt coherence, which is the native language of multidimensional consciousness. These experiences are not meant to be analyzed into a single storyline. They are meant to be lived as recognitions, coexisting aspects of you acknowledging each other and exchanging resonance. In that sense, dreamtime becomes a place of meeting rather than remembering. It is where your parallel expressions come close enough to share frequency without collapsing your nervous system. Another sign you are in convergence is repetition with variation. The same hall returns, the same atmosphere returns, the same geometric arrangement returns, yet each time something subtly deepens. A symbol appears 3 times and you feel it stabilizing. It appears 5 times and you feel it integrating. This is not superstition. It is pattern intelligence. Dream repetition is a form of communication that tells you, this container is opening safely. The simplest practice you can do is not interpretation, but witnessing. On waking, you can gently acknowledge where you were: hall, vessel, water temple, corridor, platform. Who was present, felt familiar, guiding, neutral, collaborative. What the tone was: calm authority, belonging, shared purpose, gentle urgency. This kind of soft dream recording honors the process without forcing meaning. Presence, rather than analysis, is the most fertile ground for integration. But why do these spaces feel engineered, as if they were built to hold groups, not just individuals? Because as convergence deepens, dreamtime stops feeling private. It starts feeling communal, and that is when soul lineages begin to harmonize in shared meeting spaces, without discussion, without instruction, through coordinated movement alone. And the moment you realize Dreamtime is a meeting field, you begin to notice the same gathering places, returning like checkpoints in a larger map. The ebook, The 12 Arcturian Portals, a trilogy that teaches you how to activate your 5D connection with the Arcturian masters through 12 energetic portals. Practical techniques, activation protocols, and rituals that awaken your stellar DNA. From amplified intuition to direct communication with spiritual guides. Attention! Limited edition. The link to get your trilogy is in the first pinned comment. When solar carrier waves amplify the field, they do not merely energize you, they activate lineage-level memory codes. These are not personal memories like childhood recollections. They are blueprint packets, orientations, skills, roles, and shared trajectories carried by soul groups that have traveled together across dimensions and epochs. The Arcturians transmit that many starseeds are part of lineages that coordinated missions of stabilization, healing, teaching, navigation, and geometric construction long before Earth's current storylines. These lineage strands remain intact within you as dormant coherence. And when the solar frequency matches them, the codes begin to hum awake, not as information, but as participation. This is why many of you enter dreams where you immediately know what to do. You do not question your role. You do not ask for instructions. You move as a navigator, a guardian, an archivist, a healer, a coordinator, an observer. And what is startling is how natural it feels, like slipping into a posture your soul remembers. Unity chambers appear in Dreamtime as recurring environments designed to hold collective remembrance through presence rather than debate. You may see luminous halls with crystalline architecture, corridors that feel like transit lanes, star map rooms that convey orientation rather than destination, water temples that create emotional clarity, platforms where groups assemble without speech. These spaces are not symbolic decorations. They are functional fields. Within them, communication is often nonverbal. Understanding transfers through glance, tone, synchronized movement, and shared pacing. A council-like gathering may occur where decisions are felt as alignment rather than argued as opinions. A group may coordinate a task in silence, and yet everything moves perfectly, because the memory of cooperation is already inside the lineage. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. As you revisit these spaces, repetition becomes the stabilizer. The more your system returns to the same environment, the more the memory container can open without shock. Details get sharper. Your movement becomes smoother. Your emotional tone becomes calmer. You begin to recognize familiar presences, not by name, but by the feeling of trust that arrives instantly when they are near. This recognition is not personal in the human sense. It is relational in the energetic sense. You recognize how you move together. You recognize how your attention aligns. You recognize how your presence fits inside a larger pattern that is already in motion. That is lineage coherence. And this is where many starseeds get confused, because the dreams feel like missions, yet they do not feel forced. They feel like home. They feel like what you naturally do when your full intelligence is allowed to function. And that is why waking life begins to shift. You may feel drawn to service, creativity, leadership, or protection in ways you cannot explain. Not because you adopted a new identity, but because you are remembering the posture of your own field. But there is a deeper layer still, one that has nothing to do with stories, and everything to do with a kind of knowing that existed before language. If this message ignited something within you and you feel the call to help carry it to others, you may become a channel member. As a member, you gain access to custom emojis and exclusive members-only videos. And your donation helps us continue building this sacred space. You may also choose to leave your offering as a super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone else's miracle, Your support is not merely financial, but an act of energetic amplification. All donations are devoted entirely to the maintenance of the channel and the creation of new transmissions and videos. Many of you know the feeling of certainty that appears without a thought process. You cannot trace its origin. You cannot prove it. Yet it lands complete inside you. That is the doorway into preverbal memory. Remembrance that formed before stories were needed, before meaning required explanation, before time was divided into neat lines. In dream time, preverbal memory becomes accessible because dreaming awareness does not demand translation. While you are in the dream, you rarely stop to explain what is happening. You simply move, respond, recognize. Meaning arrives whole, like a frequency that informs you instantly. The Arcturians transmit that much of your galactic memory is stored at this preverbal layer. Before human language, consciousness communicated through resonance, geometry, color, rhythm, and shared fields. Those layers remain intact within you. They awaken when the incoming frequency matches their organization. This is why solar codes can feel like warm recognition rather than mental messages. The sun transmits harmonic keys that align with ancient strata of knowing. The activation is not force, it is resonance. When alignment occurs, memory surfaces as lived understanding rather than recalled narrative. In dream time, color may become the message. A deep indigo field can carry calm authority. Soft gold can convey belonging and welcome. Bright hues can signal activation, gathering, transition. You do not need to interpret it. You feel what it means, and your awareness responds appropriately. Geometry also becomes lived language. Halls, lattices, chambers, platforms feel inhabitable, not abstract. Their proportions communicate stability. Their pathways communicate direction. And movement inside them becomes a form of knowing. You walk, float, turn, gesture, and the space responds as if it is teaching you through relationship. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Preverbal memory integrates gently because it does not demand that the waking mind solve it. It settles into your system as a quiet orientation. You may wake feeling informed even if you cannot recount the dream. That is not failure. That is success. The understanding has already seated itself below language. And when you begin to trust this preverbal knowing, something startling happens. Your waking life starts responding to it. Your choices feel clearer, not because you analyze them, but because you recognize a tone of alignment. You feel drawn towards certain forms of service or creativity. You sense what is coherent for you, and you stop needing to justify the knowing with a story. But the preverbal layer is only the beginning, because soon you will discover that dream time is becoming a shared convergence field, like a communal temple where lineages synchronize. As preverbal memory rises, many of you realize dream time is not just a place where things happen. It is a living language composed of color, shape, rhythm, and movement. And the more you relax into it, the more you notice that meaning is carried by relationship, how spaces feel, how presences align, how motion unfolds. Color in dream time is not decoration. It is architecture. It is instruction without words. It is emotional navigation. An indigo atmosphere may stabilize your awareness like a sanctuary. A gold radiance may signal welcome and lineage familiarity. A vibrant spectrum may indicate activation, transition, or the presence of a coordinated gathering. Then geometry arises, not as symbolism, but as inhabitable structure. Many starseeds report recurring halls with crystalline symmetry, platforms that feel like meeting points, corridors that function like transit lanes, water-adjacent temples that purify emotional residue, and archive spaces that feel both intimate and vast. These environments do not ask, "What do you think I mean?" They ask, "Can you be here without translating me?" Movement becomes the final language layer. You may find yourself coordinating with others in precise ways. You may know where to stand. you may know when to move. The environment seems responsive, as if the space itself is guiding your actions. This is not fantasy. It is consciousness participating in a harmonic field. As the Arcturians transmit, competence is a form of memory. When you suddenly know how to move in these spaces, it is your lineage expressing itself through action. Identity becomes function and posture rather than biography. You do not need a name tag in dream time. You recognize yourself by how naturally you participate. This is why recurring environments are so important. When a hall returns night after night, it is stabilizing a container. When a platform repeats, it is reinforcing an agreement of coordination. When a water temple appears again, it is cleansing and recalibrating emotional tone so integration remains gentle. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. But as this language stabilizes, the dream no longer feels private. It begins to feel shared, like you are entering a space already populated, already in motion, already holding a rhythm that welcomes you into a collective pattern. And when you finally recognize the communal rhythm, you will understand why so many of you have been waking up with the feeling that something happened, even when you can't explain it. Many of you are noticing a communal quality in dream time now. Not dramatic, not loud, but unmistakable, like arriving somewhere that already knows how to hold you. The convergence window creates a neutral meeting field where multiple soul trajectories intersect naturally, guided by resonance rather than hierarchy. In these shared dream environments, pacing often feels mutual. Scenes unfold with a rhythm that seems coordinated. People, or presences, move as if they share timing. There is flow. There is a sense of everyone knows when to pause, when to gather, when to move. This coordination does not come from verbal instruction. It comes from field coherence. Lineage harmonization occurs through shared activity. You may find yourself assembling with others, traveling through luminous corridors, maintaining structures that feel purposeful, coordinating energy flow, adjusting something in the environment with quiet focus. These tasks feel familiar. They do not feel assigned. They feel remembered. Recognition of others often arrives through tone, posture, calm authority, mutual trust. A glance can convey years of shared history. A moment of synchronized action can feel like the completion of an unspoken agreement. And what is beautiful is how simple it feels. Quiet cooperation, gentle orientation, steady belonging. Recurring dream locations function like stabilization hubs. Halls, vessels, platforms, open fields, water-adjacent spaces return again and again. The layout remains consistent enough to feel known, while subtle variations deepen the experience. Each return strengthens continuity and reduces strain on the nervous system. Integration happens through comfort. Over successive nights, harmonization becomes smoother. Movement becomes fluid. Recognition becomes settled. The environment feels like home. And the after effect carries into waking life as calm clarity. Choices feel more obvious. Directions feel more coherent. Your presence feels broader and more inclusive. And then comes the moment when the field offers you something practical. Not theory. Not philosophy. A direct protocol. A way to sleep that allows the codes to integrate without overload. Because the next step is not trying harder. The next step is learning how to receive. Beloved Starseed, integration does not require force. It requires receptivity, rhythm, and safety in the body. So now, we share a simple activation you can do before sleep to help your system receive solar codes with ease and stability, allowing dream time to complete what waking life cannot fully hold. Begin by allowing your body to become comfortable where you sleep. Let the day soften around you. Feel the weight of your physical form, and without judgment, acknowledge. You have carried many frequencies today. Now you are permitted to rest. Bring gentle attention to the crown of your head, not as a concept, but as a living space, quietly luminous, open, receptive, like a night sky waiting for starlight. There is nothing to visualize perfectly. There is only willingness. Now sense the presence of the sun, not distant, not external, but as a familiar intelligence that has watched over your many lifetimes on Gaia. Imagine its light arriving not as distance traveled, but as recognition. Let it touch your crown with warmth and clarity. Whisper inwardly, I receive only what integrates with grace. I welcome only what supports coherence. Feel the light begin to flow down through your head, your throat, your spine, into the chest, into the belly, into the hips, into the legs. Let it reach the hands and the feet. Let it enter the cells, not as something new, but as something remembered. Now sense your DNA as a living instrument. The Arcturians transmit that solar codes awaken through harmony, not pressure. So allow the solar light to weave through your cellular field as soft illumination. Your body already knows how to receive. Your awareness does not need to direct anything. If emotions rise, do not analyze. Let the light hold them. If images flicker, do not chase. Let them pass. If you feel a quiet certainty, let it settle. As sleep approaches, imagine a gentle bridge forming between your crown and dream time, like a corridor of coherence that stays open while you rest. Say inwardly, in dream time, I integrate easily. In waking life, I embody gently. Then release all effort. Let sleep take you. Let the night complete the transmission through the language of dream time, color, geometry, movement, resonance. When you wake, do not demand recall. Instead ask, what tone remains in me today? Because that tone is integration. That tone is the code's gift. And in the days ahead, you may notice the greatest proof, not in dramatic visions, but in your calm, your clarity, and the way your life begins to align without struggle. Because once convergence anchors into daily life, you stop feeling like you are searching for yourself, and you start feeling like you are living from what you already are. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.